morning. Getting a pretty early start on today. I've got a lot to do and I'm going to take you with me. It's cow pat evidence. This morning Dom came out to go to work and he comes back into me and said, I just tripped over Maggie on my way out the gate. She was sleeping right there on the ground and so was Reggie. This gate tends to leave itself open sometimes. I don't know how. And she got out and Reggie got out. So it's funny, you get used to knowing the sounds of your place where you live. And last night, Maple over here, Maple right there sleeping, was just mooing all night. I'm like, what is going on? Why is she mooing so much? And I should have come out because she was mooing because Maggie and Reg had left her. So it's sort of telling you something's up, you know, but I was too sleepy and I just thought I'll figure it out. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I just thought I'll just figure it out in the morning. I'll just figure it out when it's light. And then, yeah, Dom came out to go to work and tripped over the cows. Guys are going to move today. The rain's really helped to dig up the grass. This is normally where I plant all the potatoes and onions, so they're ready to move. I'm gonna go get some food for Maggie, but I have some exciting news. I've been waiting a really long time, or what seems like a really long time, because normally my chickens go broody in the start of spring. End of winter, the start of spring, my chickens start to go broody. And I would have multiple chickens on nests ready to hatch, you know, a few weeks into spring. This year, we're halfway through summer and I've only just got one broody hen. She's finally hatched her eggs. I was very eager to see what she would hatch because still, no matter how many times I hatch eggs or a chicken hatches eggs, I still think there's nothing in there. And when they do hatch, you know, it's exciting because the poor hen hasn't been sitting on an empty nest for a month, you know. So the day before yesterday, I came out to check on Mama. And she has the most beautiful little chickies. So what these mean is fresh layers. So if these guys grow up and they're hens, they will stay on to be fresh layers. My hens that I currently have are getting a little bit old, so I'm looking forward to getting a few hens that can continue my breeding lines. This is the Plymouth Rock hen, which is an American heritage bred dual purpose chicken for meat and eggs. We have eaten a few of the roosters and haven't really enjoyed the meat, so that's why we've gone into Cornish cross as well. So we have beautiful Plymouth Rock egg layers and the Cornish cross meat birds that I'm playing around with breeding. She is obviously not a Plymouth Rock hen. She is an olive egger, which is a cross of a few birds to produce coloured eggs. So she produces like a very green egg, and I have 2 other olive eggers that give a blue and a green egg as well. So it's just whoever goes broody first gets to take on the job of hatching other people's chicks. Sorry. This is her egg colour. It's a bit more green. And then there's the other hen. I've got a grey and a black hen as well. One does like a green with a brown spot, and then one does blue egg. I've had them for quite a while actually. Good job. So there are still a few eggs still in the nest. Normally peak brooding season, I would actually take the chicks away from the mum if she has a large nest and there's still eggs in there to hatch, just because having little babies running around and trying to sit on a nest is not easy to do, because the chicks get away and she's got to try and herd them back in so that she can sit on the eggs. But she only has 2 eggs left to hatch. So this one here, you can see, has started to hatch. There's a little crack right there. Did you hear that? There's a little chirp in there. I don't really help chickens out of their eggs, but if they have already pipped it open, then I do crack a little hole. There's a little nose. I do crack a little hole, but I don't ever help the chicken fully out of the egg, because if they don't get out of the shell, they're not strong enough to survive. Early on I did help chickens out of the egg, and they would die or wouldn't be able to walk, or different things. So if they can't get out of the shell, it means they're not strong enough to survive. So usually you can actually feel the chick in the egg. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that, but if you hold it still enough, you can actually feel them bumping around in there. This one hasn't yet pipped, it's still warm. And often, if you do just give them a little shake, you can very quickly tell whether there's something in there or not. If it's very sloshy and like water in there, get rid of it. It's not, hasn't worked. At this stage, when they're starting to pip, it should be like a dry sort of movement in there. There are other colours in this nest. They're mostly Plymouth Rock, but you know, given that, sorry. Hello, hi. There you are. Given that her eggs are in here, there's also some grey or grey patchy black birds, which should probably turn out to be some sort of colour when they're older. They are still a Plymouth Rock cross, so I'm only letting her hatch her own eggs to try and get more olive eggers, which Plymouth Rock eggs are pink or like a light pink brown. So if she hatches her own, there would be a cross with the Plymouth, and I might get a pinky green egg, I guess. I'm not sure. They're very cute. This one's got little eye makeup on. So cute. The ones that have hatched already are looking really healthy. It's really important to check on them, not to just leave the mum, because sometimes they will fall out of the nest, especially when they've just hatched out, like if she gets up to have a drink. If they fall out of the nest and they're not yet strong enough to walk, then they would die in the cold. So yesterday when I came out, one had just freshly hatched and fell out of the nest, and so I put it back in and it's doing fine today. So there's just 2 or 3 more eggs under there that need to hatch. So I'll keep an eye on that. One is already pipped, and the other 2, I'm not sure if they've survived. One feels a little bit sloshy to me, but I'll give her another day, and then I'll probably get rid of those eggs, because at that stage the chicks will be well and truly running around and the mum won't be able to sit on the nest anymore. And then what I normally do is let the mum go with the chicks in the normal chicken paddock. I do think that makes for a stronger bird if they learn to forage from their mum and learn to survive from their mum. I do think that makes a stronger bird. That's what I normally do, but I'm just going to assess that because it's my only it's my only nest this year. So we'll just see what happens, I think. Doing something a bit different this morning, which the cows always love when I change things up. Not. They really like routine, cows, but I'll see if Reg wants to go in first. Come on, Reg. Come on, Reg. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, handsome. Good boy. Come on. There you go. I'm going to put the cows into this paddock. I gotta move this leftover wire and bug mesh though. We've recently moved the fruit trees that were in that paddock because, well, we've put them all over into the orchard together so they can all be cared for and watered in the same spot. Very big learning curve. You know, we've been here for 5 years and we're 5 years too late planting fruit trees, but we did plant fruit trees the second year, the first year or the second year we got here, which was very much a mistake because we planted them in this spot right here and it wasn't fenced, and the kangaroos, I think we planted maybe 6 or 8 fruit trees, and the kangaroos just annihilated them. The next year, or a little while after that, we fenced it with chicken mesh, with the chicken mesh and the hot wire. And then we put sheep in here and the sheep annihilated them. So then I sort of caged them and put bird mesh on them, which really slowed the sheep down, but there was only 3 left at that stage. The sheep had wiped out most of them, so we've just dug them up and moved them over to the orchard paddock where we know the fruit trees will be staying, and they'll be well protected there. We're actually going away for a few days. You guys will see this when we're back due to editing delay, but we're going away for a few days just to have a little holiday. And so I'm going to put the cows in this paddock and give them plenty of food so that they are okay when we're gone, because we still feed them night and morning. So I'll just put a heap of feed in there for them and they can just tick away at it, because if they were to go back in their regular paddock, the horses would eat all that feed, and the horses certainly do not need all that feed because they're already fat. So that's the plan. When we go away, there's always an enormous list of things that have to get done before we go, and it's quite a nice break when we do get away. So I've got a really busy day, so we are just we are getting an early start this morning to try and knock over a few jobs. This is going to sound really silly, but I really love where the milking bale is, because when I milk early in the morning and the sun comes up, you get that feeling that like you're on top of the world, because it is on top of a hill and you're just in line with the sky. It's going to sound really silly, but it's the best way to wake up. It's the best first job to do is milking, because it's just so nice. I really like it. This is my seed sprouting venture. This one didn't work out so well because I left it too wet. Very early stages. This one's really good. That went really well, but it's also needing some water to keep growing. But see how we go with that. I'm thinking probably don't want it to go moldy, and it has started to go moldy. I think it's meant to grow quite quickly and then you feed it out. This is a system I'm trialing. It's nowhere near ready, but for fodder for animals, so it can be fed to pretty much all the animals we have. And so I really want to just play around with that and get it going. So I've just done a smallish batch of starting seeds. I don't really have a lot of time to dedicate to it, so it sort of needs to look after itself if I'm going to do it. But this one's too dry, taking too long to grow, and it's gone moldy. This one was too wet and only a few of the seeds have sprouted and it's gone moldy. So both of those I'm not going to use. I'm going to start again and soak it for 24 hours, then drain it off and put it in the tray. That's what I did with this one. This tray also has a hole in it. This one does not. So keep that water drained off and then just keep misting it or watering it so that the plant can actually grow quite quick so that it doesn't mold. That's what I've got from that little experiment. Last week we lost a heap of rabbits. I think I ended up losing 5 or 6 to what I can only assume is some sort of myxomatosis, which is a virus spread through blood-sucking insects like mosquitoes and fleas. They don't have any evidence of fleas, but one mistake I did make was some of my rabbits got out and they were out for a few days because I couldn't catch them, and then I've caught them and put them back with my rabbits, and so I think that was a mistake, because if they did cross with any wild rabbits, they could have picked up ticks or viruses from them. So lesson learned on that one. Also, I'm covering them up at night time so that the mozzies don't bite them. Whatever it was, whether it was mixo or not, it's very susceptible to pet rabbits or, rabbits you're keeping. The wild rabbits seem to have a little bit of immunity to it. However, we have lost a heap of wild rabbits as well. So just showing up, just dead. So, so far so good with just wrapping them at night time. It seems to have stopped whatever was happening. This cage here has mosquito mesh on it. And so that's what I'll be doing for the rest of my cages, so that the mozzies can't get to the rabbits. I sort of thought it was a bit funny that mozzies can bite rabbits because they're so fluffy, like their fluff is so thick. But I had the rabbits out here just on cages so I could easily clean underneath, because when they're in the shed sitting on the concrete, it doesn't breathe very well and it just starts to smell and get gross. So, and obviously this time of year there's a lot of flies. So today I'm going to put mozzie mesh on all the cages. Now the only thing I could think of is, underneath the cages, how would obviously I can't put mozzie mesh on the bottom of the cage because it would hold all of the manure. So I think I'm just going to put really thick straw on the bottom so the mozzies can't get through, but it can drain, and I'll have to keep cleaning them out more than what I normally would have to. But I've had these rabbits for probably a year and a bit now, and I've never had this issue. I've never had rabbits die. I've never had a rabbit die. So Chris is actually playing with the rabbits. Brucey, what are you doing? I've never had any rabbits die before, so this is a new issue for me, and I think just because it's the warmer months when the mozzies are out that it's obviously a lot worse. So in the cooler months I probably won't have to put heavy hay when there's not so many mosquitoes around. So a bit of trial and error with that. It's very sad that I lost a lot of rabbits, and I actually lost Bruce, leave them alone. I actually lost my new meat rabbit, my Crusader rabbit, which I was really disappointed about because she was beautiful. They're all beautiful, but she was going to be my new breeding lines. So back to the drawing board with that. I'll have to find some more breeding lines and get on top. But yeah, dusk till dawn, they're covered up so that the mozzies don't bite them and kill them. Seems harsh, doesn't it? That mozzies can kill you. They're pretty good for feed and water. I'm just going to get them some fresh veggies and bring them back because they like that. So, looks like Maggie's pulled out one of my pineapple plants. That's fun. Oh, really? Okay, so the cows got out this morning, I mentioned that, and they found their way into the veggie garden. What is with that? What's with cows and pineapples? They love them. So annoying. Come on, girls. Chuk, chuk, chuk. I've just got to make sure I shut this gate. If I shut this gate, nothing can get in here, but I seem to forget to shut the gate. And then I wonder why my plants don't survive. Like big cow footprints in my veggie garden. Doesn't look like they did too much damage. They just pulled out a pineapple plant. Sucks. All right, come on, girls. Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Uh-oh. Reggie's spotted me. No, not for you, Reg. No, not for you, bud. I sold a heap of geese. Last Sunday, I sold 10 to one person. There was, on Gumtree, where I sell them, you can see how many views or how many people clicked on your ad. There was 500 people last week clicked on the ad. One person came on Sunday and picked up all 10 that I had for sale. And then another person came and picked up one. So all my geese were gone in one day, which has left us with just breeding stock, which is great. And it really helps to stop that competition between the sheep and the geese of grass. Just having the geese that we have for breeding means that we have cut back on mouths to feed, and it also helped us to afford a new fridge. So I'll show you that, guys, today as well, our new fridge. I just want to go and let the cows into the right paddock, and then I'll come back this way and get some veggies for the rabbits. Happy, honey. It's always the smallest one that's the bravest. Amazing, I just got to get the other two in now. Come on, big girl. There you go. There you go. Try something different. Good job. Good job. All right, last one. Come on, Reg. Are you going to miss out, buddy? Come on. Reggie, let's go. Come on, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. There you go, big fella. Come on, hurry up. Come on. Good boy. Thanks, honey. Okay. That's good. It's one big job done. Assessing the damage from the cows getting out. And it looks like there's one on the ground and they've ripped one of the pineapples off. Very not cool. Just gonna get some stuff for the rabbits. Finally got carrots out of this bed. What? We've only been in this bed since the start of spring and we've already got carrots and radishes, lettuce, beetroots, sunflowers and flowers growing. This garden's really, really pumping. I'm so happy. The zucchinis we're getting out of this veggie patch are enormous. I'm just stoked with this veggie patch. I can't believe how quick it's coming together. Some really nice root vegetables coming out. So happy. I've just come in for brekkie. I'm making a coffee and Wally's drink of choice is milk, honey in it. He actually lives off milk, honey in it. Coffee grounds for the veggie garden. There's something about looking out the window and seeing a cow.